Adam Cooney, the Brownlow medalist in the house. Hello, buddy.
Hello, mate. How's the weekend?
Great.
Showdown for you. Little trip over to my hometown.
Mate, it's amazing how no one in Adelaide knows who you are, even though you were born there.
Well,
You need to go back more.
Mummy and Daddy know who I am.
Do they?
I haven't spoken to them for a while.
You've
so they've
been back
probably
4
forgotten about me
times
as well.
since you got drafted. No, it was outstanding. Going to talk about the showdown very shortly. Braden Cool, what a star. I'm going to tell you why he was the perfect guy to kick that goal. I'll get to that
Because
shortly.
he was in the right spot. I would say that would be the perfect
I'm gonna
reason for it.
I'm gonna go a little deeper than that.
Oh, a bit deeper.
A little deeper. What was your favourite thing of the weekend?
Well, we're going to talk about Freo in a minute, a bit more in depth. So I'll leave Hayden Young for a couple of minutes. You can't go past Peter Wright. You just
So with the Peter Wright, for people who may not have heard this show before, and this isn't you taking the piss, you are the biggest supporter of Peter Wright.
He's my favourite player
in the league. In the league.
Yep.
Why?
Well, the Cooney family just seem to have latched onto him.
Okay.
And it's just something about him. I just love, maybe it's a ginger hair. He's one of best and fairest. I love it. As soon as he gets the ball, anywhere between 10 and 60, you know he's going to kick it straight.
Yeah.
He's the most reliable kick for a set shot in the league.
So in the league.
Yep.
So in the league,
For my life.
ball inside 50.
Yep.
Mark, siren is gone.
For my life.
Peter Wright.
Peter's the man.
2 metre Peter.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not going to argue it because he's a wonderful kick of the football.
2 metre Peter's not, 2 metres not that rare anymore, you know.
No, it's not.
So he used to be, whoa, Peter Wright's 2 metres. Now
Yeah,
half the competition is 2 metres. Like
2 metre Coxie doesn't roll as well. You know what I mean?
The midfielders are 2 metres these days. But, you know, I say that in jest, but he is putting together a pretty good few weeks. Like, he's gone into the ruck. He had 26 and kicked 2 on the weekend in a team that is horrific.
So,
Can he make a charge for the best and fairest?
well, who's leading it?
Yeah.
Who's leading the Essendon best and fairest?
Probably Archie Roberts.
Probably.
Although Archie Roberts' numbers are somewhat inflated because he has 15 kickouts every week.
This is the thing. Archie Roberts has got a little bit of Sam Flanders at the Gold Coast. You know, a couple of years ago when he was getting 40 touches and he wasn't exactly...
And no votes.
Yeah, he wasn't hurting you yet. Now, Archie Roberts is young, so it's a big thing to be able to get it. The next evolution is to be able to hurt you, and it probably helps a bit if he was playing in a team that had, you know, a couple more offensive weapons. But it's not too bad of a point. What it has done, though, Peter Wright in the ruck, Adam, and we might touch on this off the top. I wasn't expecting to, but let's do it. It's taken away a positional change for Ben Mackay, right? So if Peter Wright wasn't playing as well as he is in the ruck, maybe Brad Scott would have said, let's try the big fella in the ruck. Now, you can't do that because Peter Wright's actually got that opportunity first and probably isn't going to lose it anytime soon. So now you've got to find the right balance with Ben Mackay, who's got no confidence, but he's on an abundance of cash.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably reluctant to drop him, knowing that his best form when they signed him, when they brought him over, was in their best 23, what it is now. This Ben Mackay conundrum is interesting. Like, what do you do?
Well, I think you give him a week off to go on holiday.
So no VFL, just a
No.
whole circuit breaker.
Well, a week of VFL, I don't
right.
think he's going to help him. I think
Not
he
a key
needs-
defender,
I think
I
he just
agree.
needs to switch his phone off for a week. I think he needs to go on holidays, go up to Port Douglas, go to Cairns, somewhere warm, rest the body, rest the mind, come back, play a week in the VFL, hopefully get some confidence back, and then come back into the side from there. I'm guessing the reason that they haven't left him out of the side is because they have no one to play in that key position spot.
Agreed. Their depth probably isn't at the level of a many other club, which is something that we've spoken
They're
about
already
all
light
around
on
the ground, okay?
back there.
But I mean,
But he's not doing himself any favours. They're not
No,
doing
he's
the Essendon
not.
Footy Club any favours. And there's also like the integrity of, you know, getting picked on your merits when it comes to effort. And he's not giving effort at the moment. Like we have seen clip after clip after clip on all the footy shows about how he's, you know, zoning off, letting his man lead up. There's no intensity in his game at the moment. He's turning the ball over when he's got it. One-step kick. So he's just completely off at the moment.
it's going to piss, I tell you what, it's going to piss Essendon fans off, right? That if he's, and I don't disagree with you. I think,
still in the team.
no, or he's on a holiday and missing these. So if they said to him this week, hey, mate, go and relax, total circuit breaker, and then they lose by 10 goals, right? And then the guy who's on $1 million a year is on a holiday. And I'm not saying it's the wrong thing. I'm just simply saying that Essendon fans who are clearly disappointed, and the Bronx cheers, I really felt for him. I mean, I totally understand.
Yeah.
I'm not a cheerer or a Bronx cheerer or a booer,
Mm.
but these fans who have had all, 20 years of disappointment and pay their hard earned and keep going to these games, I understand their frustration, but I also wouldn't suggest he goes on social media if he takes a week off because these fans are going to, and football fans are harsh in general. But I do feel for him, and they've got to find the right way forward to get him back playing good footy. And I ask you this, Adam. I've actually asked you this before about how enjoyable is it to play AFL footy, okay? So, there's a lot of pressure that's associated with it. You've spoken about it before. How many games do you think Ben Mackay's enjoyed in his career? Like, he won 9 games at North Melbourne, and that was a big reason to leave when he left.
How many did he won at the Bombers?
Oh, not a huge amount more.
Not a large amount more.
No.
Yeah, so he wouldn't have enjoyed many games in his career. He's certainly not enjoying his time at Essendon. And the only time you do enjoy footy is that couple of hours after a win. And then the rest of it is...
But he doesn't get that either, really.
No, not at all. So the rest of it is, it's relief that you've won. Okay, well, the game review is going to be a lot more positive. The week's going to be better. The coach is going to be in a good mood. Everything's better when you win. And when you lose, like, you start to overthink everything. If you play poorly for 1 week, then, you're already starting to think, well, if I have a down week, I'm going to get dropped in a couple of weeks' time. And it is, there's high pressure. You have to live it 24/7 as well. There's no escaping it, which... unless you're up on the Gold Coast or to a lesser extent, playing your footy in Sydney, you can't really escape that scrutiny that is in Victoria and what Mackay is going through, particularly when you're at a big club like the Bombers, who are just so sick of underperforming for so long. But and you have to look at Carlton as well. He wasn't the only Mackay on the weekend that was getting Bronx cheers.
Hold that, because we're going to get to Carlton very shortly.
Harold copped a few as well.
I do believe you might have an ulterior motive when we get to Carlton, but we'll worry about that in a moment. Let's go positive. Let's talk Fremantle. Seven in a row now. Take it away with Hayden Young.
Well, it's not only Hayden. So I love the battle of Hayden Young and Bont going at it.
It's cool, wasn't it?
Like, Bont kicked a goal and Hayden Young, return serve, and he probably got the points in the end. He was dynamic. He adds that different element to their midfield. That's why they can win the flag this year. He's just got to stay fit out on the park because he seems to enjoy the bigger moments in the bigger games and lists because of that. So Hayden Young, Shea Bolton and Murphy Reid now have gone past Brayshaw and Serong.
Let me ask you this question then, okay? Because Caleb Serong is a 3-time, by the way, a reigning 3-time best and fairest winner. He's won the last 3 at Fremantle. He was an All-Australian all 3 of those years. And this is why Fremantle can win the flag, because Caleb Serong's form has not dropped off, okay? He's just become less important.
Yep.
Bolton.
Which is an unbelievable statement.
Listen to this.
Really.
Jackson, Bolton, Pearce, Tracy, Reid, Young, and maybe even, with the way footballers played, Jordan Clark might be more important than Caleb Serong right now. Now, I'm not saying they're better footballers. I'm simply saying to Fremantle's success, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there may be 7 more important players at the Dockers than Caleb Serong, which is an extraordinary comment in its own right. But it's hard to argue, really, isn't it, Adam?
It is. I mean, it's and that would probably be wrapped up. Like Caleb Serong, that wouldn't worry him.
No, not at all.
Like, he's won the last 3. He's thinking, okay, well, some of these guys now are stepping up. I don't have to shoulder this massive load and the responsibility that was shared with Brayshaw. So Brayshaw's numbers have dropped off this year. He's been quiet in some games. He wouldn't care because you look at the stars around him getting the job done. So those two can probably sit back and think, okay, right, if it doesn't matter if we get 20 to 25, we don't have to get 35 every week and 10 clearances so we can win a game of footy. The load is spread. They're set up really well. They play some good offensive footy now. It's not boring to watch. That they play with some flair. They're set up all over the ground. They've won 7 in a row. A
big one Thursday night. Huge one. Hawthorn in the West on a Thursday night standalone game.
I mean, you expect them to win that.
Fremantle should be favourites. I don't know where the chicken on the bone sits with that game. I mean, this is going to be really sound diminishing to Serong and Brayshaw, and I don't mean it at all, but I'll...
Trade them.
No. But when you talk about the way they played their footy and not having the lack of flair, those two men don't have a huge amount of flair. They're meat and potatoes, go and get the pill, use it, hard to stop. It was indicative of Fremantle, okay? So when Justin Longmuir copped a lot of grief about, you got to play a bit more flair, you got to take the game on, their 2 best players, who are critical. By the way, Serong and Brayshaw are critical to that team winning a flag, okay? But they also don't have a huge amount of flair about the way they play their footy. The guys we just mentioned, Hayden Young, Jackson, Bolton, Reed, Tracy, those type of guys, Clark, they have the flair. So all of a sudden he's been able to find, Longmuir, I mean, the perfect balance of to what a premiership team should look
that's probably
like.
the reason why he wasn't, playing that high offense footy, because he didn't have those stars there. And then, go out, identify the Murphy Reed, that pick at 17 is just chef's kiss. So, but, I guess we might be understating the importance of Serong and Brayshaw, because if those guys aren't there, that they get it out to the flair.
I think, I don't think we're understating the importance. I think the importance of other players has just been exaggerated and exposed and understood a bit more now they're playing that type of football.
But maybe those two are making them better footballers as well.
Agreed. Hey, I want to give a shout. The AFL rules, okay?
Oh, what?
I give a rule change.
The only footy fan in the world.
It's not a recent rule change, by the way. But the AFL introducing the 666 rule a number of years ago now, which didn't feel like it was needed in major moments in late game situations. The showdown Friday night, that doesn't happen without 666.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And we've seen it a couple of times over the course of the year. Hawthorn a couple of weeks ago on Easter Monday when they ran down Geelong. Without 666, on Friday night, Port Adelaide had 15 players behind the pill. And there's no room for Cook to be able to find a moment. There's no room for Curtin to be able to get the ball and force it back inside 50. Yeah. So I don't like the warning. Why there is a warning for a rule that's been in for nearly a decade now. And I mean that it only bobs up every now and then. But the 666 rule has been a positive for major magical moments in the code.
Well, I think I agree with you. Coaches would hate it.
Absolutely.
So I coach APS footy, and it's VAFA rules. So there is no 666. So we can load up as many people you want behind the ball, which means, tactically you have to do a lot of extra training on that. And it used to be quite enjoyable to watch and see in the AFL what they would do late in games. So that's been taken away from coaches a little bit, which is, frustrating at times. But it is great because with, look at what happened last year with the Melbourne Saints game with Naz.
Doesn't happen.
And they train that and for the miracle where, everyone pushes deep, now slide forward, and then we'll kick it over the top. So that creates the space to do that. If there's 5 blokes down at the back of the square, obviously that moment doesn't happen. So, yeah, it is a good one. It's a good one because it gives both teams the opportunity to win it if they need to late in a game.
Anytime you stand up and kick a match-winning goal, in any level, from under 9s all the way to AFL, it's a cool moment, okay?
That was a good one.
It was a great moment.
That was one of the good.
Let me go a little deeper.
One of the great sausages.
Firstly, he's having a really nice season. The wing position has got back into be a really important position the last 3 or 4 years in the AFL with the way that footy's going. He's got himself fitter. He's on the record of saying that, and he's having a really good season. He's busting his backside, and he's a part of that Adelaide sort of wing crew that makes them better. So good start to the season. Yep. But he grew up an Adelaide Crows fan, so he would have so much hatred for the Power. Like, he would hate. This is by far, this isn't a dislike because some team beat another team last year in the finals. This is genuine hatred that has spawned from years and years of football.
Because the Crows fans in Adelaide,
Australia,
the Port Adelaide fans see the Crows fans as, posh, well-to-do, pompous flogs. And Adelaide see Port Adelaide fans as, feral bogans with similar to like Collingwood, the working class.
Yeah.
So that's why they hate each other. And then obviously the punch up at the Ramsgate many years ago with Rashudo and Josh Carr. That's sort of inflamed things from there. And there's always a bit of an argy-bargy during the week as well in Adelaide when it comes to a showdown.
The Ramsgate Blue was better because they were two high-profile, very good footballers.
Yeah.
If it had been two dudes
and a couple of hard nuts as well.
They had been like a couple of guys only played every now and then. No one would really care.
Yeah, Tyler Welsh and Brandon Zirk-Thatcher
going
down.
Fuck. Tyler Welsh is playing some good footy in the twos actually at the moment. He's getting fitter as well,
he's in
right?
the twos though.
Yeah, okay, fair. But because it was Rashudo and Carr, they're two unbelievably good men, premiership players at those two clubs that still have huge roles. Carr now the coach.
What year was that?
Oh, I'm gonna say.
Was it pre-iPhone?
Oh yeah, it was pre-iPhone.
God, what you wouldn't give to just have been an iPhone on the wall there, just watching those two at the front of the pub, just iPhone out. Have a look at them. Going at it.
Rashudo owns it, right?
Oh, he owns every pub
Yeah,
in South
so
Australia.
I don't know if he's got the CCTV tucked away for a rainy day. I don't know if that's true or not. But Braden Cook grew up a Crows fan,
He's
so
on
he
a late
hates
kick.
Port. He debuted in a showdown. His first game was a showdown. Now he's worked his way in and out of that lineup. Now he's having a really good year, and it never looked like missing, Adam.
Yeah,
It never looked like missing.
He's a good ball user. He's sort of come from nowhere too. So Crows have got another one there. Gee, they've drafted and recruited well over the last few years.
They have.
I really enjoyed watching their list build over 6 or 7 years, and now hopefully that can springboard their season.
For people who used to stay up late on a Friday night, you would have seen Adam Cooney talk about Wayne Miller as a possible Brownlow medalist. Okay, now again,
I might have been ahead of my time.
again, like the 2 meter Peter thing, people think you're taking the piss, and you're not.
Oh,
You're legit.
I saw something in
silky
him.
smooth, right?
Many years ago, I saw something in it. It would have been 5 years ago,
Easily,
I reckon.
Easily.
And now he's starting to bear the fruits of that labour.
We use the word most important probably too often on the Armchair Experts podcast, but he is close to the most important Crow because without him and the way that footy is played, where you need to have that drive from the halfback, they don't really have anyone else. Like Brodie Smith played that role in recent years, almost for 15 years, but he's no longer there. So they don't have anyone else who plays that particular role. He's doing it really well. And right now, Adam, right at this very second, he's got an All-Australian blazer.
Oh, double A half back.
Yeah.
I like it. He'd be winning their best and fairest. Hopefully getting a lot of Brownlow votes. If he won the Brownlow, we've got to find the vision of me saying that. Nostradamus, they call me.
They do. They do call you Nostradamus. He won't win the Brownlow.
Oh. Why are you always poo-pooing my thoughts?
Well, I don't want you to go off, and I'm going to cut this up later, and there's you saying Wayne Miller is about to win the Brownlow. So I'm just looking after you. But he has been extremely, extremely important for them. And he's
on you, Wayne. Thank
playing
you.
good footy.
Thanks for doing it, Wayne. I appreciate it.
Did you catch the Swans yesterday?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. Watched a half.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Just a game.
Just a game. When the AFL designed the rules and they changed it to be more offensive, that game is exactly what they were hoping for.
When did Malcolm Rosas become Cyril Rioli?
Yesterday.
He's kicked 7 snags, the young fella.
Yeah.
Like, what a pickup.
He feasted.
What they do, Sydney, and I've watched them the last couple of weeks now, 2 weeks in a row, is like all their drive just comes through Blakey. And teams can't stop him.
Well, he's on the other halfback, by the way, in the All-Australian team.
And when he takes off, he forces defenders at him, and then they get that loopy one over the top, and from there, they're away. So he's critical to their
You know
ball
what he should
movement
do,
and their
Nick
offense.
Blakey? I don't know if this has crossed his mind at all, but at the end of the year, when Sydney are playing deep into September and probably on grand final day, and he has an All-Australian blazer, another one in his closet, he should send just a slab, maybe 2 to Greg Swan and say, thanks, mate. Because the rule changes are perfect for him. Like the stand rule, the way that he plays his footy, the way he attacks, exactly what the AFL want the game to look like is Nick Blakey's game.
Yeah. It's so easy to run now off half-back and get a touch.
I don't know if it's easy to run off half-back and get a touch.
It is easy.
It's
I could give me
give
me a month of preseason.
Nah.
And I'll give you
no chance.
I'll give you 18 off halfback every week.
How about we get you a game in one of the great Geelong leagues where you live?
Yep.
Give you a month there, and I bet you don't get 18 off halfback.
Geelong, a bit too contested.
So you can get 18 of halfback in the AFL with the rule changes, but not if you were playing for Lara.
It'd be Lara have disbanded. They don't have a
but
club
they're gone.
anymore. They're gone.
Well, there you go. Told you couldn't get
They're
touches
gone.
for Lara.
Joey. So
okay,
if I was
your club.
If I was, I could get 18 easier off the halfback flank playing for Carlton than I would for Joey's.
Oh, Armchair.experts, hit us up. Comment section.
I'd take kickouts as well.
Instagram and TikTok.
Archie Roberts style. I'd have 14 kickouts and four kicks.
We did radio yesterday at SEN, and you have been pretty consistent on this around Michael Voss, where it's not like, hey, Michael Voss, who unfortunately I think is going to be gone, okay?
Yeah.
But I also don't see the reason to sack him now. Like, I mean, I totally understand.
No point.
If he's not going to be there, I get that. But it's like, well, why? He's working his backside off. And this isn't just all on Michael Voss, right?
No.
You're very... Players need to take some type of initiative.
Yeah, but I also will concede that he won't be there next year.
Okay.
So I understand that, I've stuck up for him for the last couple of weeks. If you have a look at the execution of the players, and even on Saturday night, like the footy that they played in the first half, it was great. They were winning contests. They actually were spreading and got the ball on the outside far better than the Saints were doing. But then the first 10 minutes, they had 4 opportunities to kick goals and put some real heat on the Saints, and they missed all 4 of them. So they kicked 4 behinds in the first 10 minutes. The Saints go down, they have 2 inside 50s, they kick a goal. And then from there, it was the Saints went 1-on-1.
Yeah.
And the Carlton Footy Club couldn't move the ball for 10 minutes, and then that was it. And then they got frustrated. Liam Henry, Peter Dean's young fella gave away the double.
Who is actually a bright side for them this year, the young fella.
Will be a star.
Yeah.
Will be a star. He's the Jacob Wiedering replacement.
Okay, so
I can see that, so they played all right for 2.5 quarters again, and then they fall away. Well, that's, got more to do mentally.
So your
tactically.
Your personnel focused more so than head coach personnel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will concede that Vossi will be gone.
Okay,
so we need to find a new coach.
Okay, then where do we start? Because Hinkley, Simpson, Longmire, all without jobs at the moment.
Yeah.
So, and they are the 3. Okay, so 2 are premiership coaches, and Ken Hinkley couldn't have done any more to give that Port Adelaide Football Club an opportunity to win it.
So they're the big dogs, right? I just don't know.
Just quickly, does the Hinkley not winning a flag work against him, against Simpson and Longmire?
No.
I'm glad you agree.
Absolutely. Well, we have a look at the list that Port Adelaide had under Ken Hinkley's tutelage, and when was he the best? When did they have the best list, or even a top 4 list? And they managed to do it time and time again.
Top 4 list, you could probably argue a number of years, but they were never the best team in the league, right?
Your button's blown out there.
Has it really? There you go. Thank you.
Don't cut that out. Just keep that in.
Yeah, we have to keep it in. We don't edit.
You've blown a button.
I'm going up and down with excitement. Okay, so who's the coach then? One of those 3?
No, I would go the other way. I just think getting an experienced coach in, I think that there would be a level of sort of frustration there from the start.
Oh, no. So you're going a fresh-faced first-timer.
I'll go fresh-faced first-timer, but a really experienced assistant coach.
Sorry, I can't believe I haven't seen this coming.
So I can't believe
I'm going
to give him one more shot. Danny, I'm going to give you one more go. Right?
For the people who may not be aware, go on.
Daniel Giansiracusa, he has been in the system as an assistant for a very, very, very long time.
Decade.
Right? He's missed out narrowly on a couple of jobs already, head coach's jobs. He's now at Hawthorn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He would be exactly what a young developing side needs. Adam Simpson coming in, I don't think he wants, why would he want to go through another 5 to 7 year list build? Why would John Longmire want to do that? Kenny, maybe, I think. Ken probably be the one out of those 3 that I would pick if you were going to go experience. But go someone that is a development coach that's a little bit younger, that can build these relationships with younger players and actually get the best out of them and be patient enough to want to do it for 5 to 7 years before they have some success. I mean, imagine Lygon Street when Giansiracusa gets picked as a coach. It all just makes sense, the synergy of it all.
So when you're saying
the Italians back to Carlton.
Okay, I mean,
back on side.
He went to Hawthorn late, by the way, in the off-season after leaving Essendon for this exact reason. I don't know if it was working against him, if he thought it was working against him, that being at a club that hadn't had success recently, maybe clubs look at that. I don't know. What I do know is that when you're working under, Alistair Clarkson, you got opportunities. You work under Chris Scott, you get opportunities. You work under Damien Hardwick, they've got opportunities. So going to clubs that have success and are knocking on that door clearly has been the way other clubs have looked at it. But they've announced their new head coach.
Look what Hawthorn have done under Sam Mitchell. So Daniel, he's learnt all of that. He's seeing it every day. You can just bring what he's learnt at Hawthorn over to Carlton straight away. So Stephen King's done the same thing.
Yeah, so G is the coach, right?
Stephen King at the Bulldogs was my midfield coach. Mm-hmm. And he's completely different to what he is now. And he sort of said to a couple of players, I've learned a lot since I was an assistant coach at the Bulldogs to what they do at Geelong, and he's just brought that over to Melbourne. Well, Gia can do the same thing. And Hawthorn, Carlton should look at Hawthorn and think, well, hang on, let's build our list like they've done over the last couple of years.
All right, so what are you doing then with the list? Okay, so I want to point this out before you start throwing names. I'll give you contract length. Okay.
All right. Well, so
Wiedering until 31, Cripps next year.
Oh. Yep.
Mackay until 30.
Yep.
Chera until 30.
Yep. So I'd blow the joint up. I'd trade all 4 of them.
So who's got the most trade value there?
Probably Wiedering, closely followed by Mackay.
Okay.
So it's 2. I would say it's at least you get 2 first rounders and maybe something at the back end for Wiedering.
I agree with that.
I think you get 2 first rounders for Mackay. I'm telling you, there would be a club out there that's lacking a key forward or some help for another young key forward. Why doesn't Harry go and play with Ben?
Because they don't need him.
They've only got Caddy at the moment. Then
Archer May, are they going to go? Are they going to give up where Essendon currently are and go to get Harry Mackay on a long deal when things haven't been working for Harry as much in recent times as it is?
Yeah.
And he's also seen what the Essendon fans and how they've dealt with Ben.
But it might help Ben.
Well, it might. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying that working and playing with your brother's not going to be a tonic. But I mean,
the bookends with
I just
Harry
don't think
and Ben,
Essendon would give up 2 first rounders for Harry Mackay.
not with their list build. So I think that I've just lost every Essendon supporter that was ever a fan of me by saying that. Because I think we've only got one Mackay. Why would we want another one that we can Bronx cheer? So maybe Essendon wasn't the best example.
I think Collingwood's a place for Harry Mackay.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I mean, I don't think they're going to give up 2 first rounders for him, though. I think that the trade value of Harry Mackay has dropped considerably.
I think there would be a club out there that would be willing to, even if he has to go to a younger developing club.
But
then
would he want to do that? Would he want to go to a younger developing club?
Yeah.
Okay, in a situation.
Well, could it be any worse than where he is now?
Well, I don't know. I don't even know if he wants out. He hasn't really made any major suggestions, and I know these things stay in-house as they should.
Yeah, but if the club come to him and said, "Listen, we're going a full rebuild here. Vossi's gone. We're going to get a new coach in. We're trading. Cripps is going back to WA. Wiedering's gone. We're 5 years away from success.
The
may as well go somewhere else.
issue with this is, Adam, is that next year Tassie come in, right? So
yeah,
all of us
that's why they should load up right now.
Yeah, I know, but then I just don't know if this year there's going to be enough trade value to be able to get, if Wiedering wanted and was okay with it. Cripps is a year, are people going to say,
So you're telling me that Wiedering, Cripps, and Mackay, there's going to be no suitors?
No, Wiedering 100%. As I said a couple of weeks ago, Wiedering is 2 first rounders at a minimum, okay? If you get him, and this is why I'm so big on the Bulldogs. So the Wiedering trade value has not diminished. I'm not arguing that, okay? Cripps is different because he's a free agent in 12 months' time. The club, and say if it's a West Australian club, and it has to be probably West Coast because Fremantle don't need him, which is remarkable to say, but honestly, they're going to be like, well, why would we give up something high now to get Cripps when we could just get him in 12 months' time if, in fact, he chooses to come to us? Harry Mackay is the interesting one because he is someone that a lot of clubs don't have, a
Coleman
big
medalist.
power forward who's won a Coleman medal, but
he can play.
But he can. I'm not arguing he can play.
He's not happy at the moment.
He's not happy at the moment.
So you look at him glass.
Well,
up.
he's not playing.
Let's take the positive.
Okay.
Like Harry Mackay, freshen up of environment. Body's still holding out okay. If he goes to a new club, we see it all the time.
I agree. I think Collingwood would be the great place for him.
I think he'd love it at Collingwood.
Except Craig Kelly, the CEO, went on radio last week and said we're going to go to the draft. So then to sort of backflip a little bit and pick up Harry Mackay might be a tough sell. Now, it's also might be, say if Collingwood finish 10th, no, they'll finish higher than 10th, but say they're picking at 10. Would just pick 10 for Harry Mackay work?
Well, I think the Blues would be happy with it. They probably want maybe something else. But as I said, if you're going to blow the joint up, you may as well do it properly.
Yeah.
Instead of trading out one of these players, you may as well go as hard as you can and get. So they get Walker this year.
Yes.
Right? With the new.
A little more expensive than it.
Well, when you say a little more expensive, say if they do have pick 3.
Yeah.
Do they have to burn pick 3 on Cody Walker?
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Now, it's a little less ridiculous because he was really good in the VFL. So I wouldn't say less ridiculous. I should rephrase and say it hurts a little less when they see him do what he did. But, I mean, it's going to come across as in, Wiedering's got high trade value. Cripps doesn't because he's out in 12 months' time. And Mackay, you've got to be able to sell it to the right club. So your trade value drops when there's probably clubs who aren't interested. And you got Tasmania in 12 months' time. And you got someone like Adam Chera, all of a sudden you're trading your entirety of your veterans if you were to blow it up, which I don't disagree with.
Yeah.
But then you're in a situation, if some injuries hit, you're Richmond,
Mm.
right, who will have more draft picks, because they had Rioli
Yeah.
and they had Bolton, who they were able to sell highest to two clubs who were in that premiership window in the Gold Coast Suns and Fremantle.
But we've never been critical of Richmond over
Never.
the last few years. Because
Never.
we see the value in what they're doing.
But I don't think Carlton can get that. I don't think they. So Rioli and Bolton were perfect storms with the two. Gold Coast stopped caring about draft picks because they've been able to stockpile high draft picks for a long period of time, and they had the academy kids coming in, so they were able to pay more for Rioli than what another club might have. And then Fremantle were like, geez, Bolton's that cream on top. We believe we're nearly there.
Yeah.
And I think the proof has been fairly obvious in the first, in particular this year and last year in different aspects. So I don't argue your theory. I just don't know if it works as well. It definitely very hard to sell it as well as Richmond did to their fans. And Richmond also did it on the back of three flags. Carlton haven't had that
Well,
success.
you sell it as saying, listen, do you want to keep treading water for another 10 years until, until Wiedering's done, Cripps is done in a couple of years, Harry Mackay's done, and we're in the middle of the rung in no man's land.
Yeah.
At least St Kilda have been in that spot for a decade, and they said, well, we're not going to accept this anymore. We're going to have a crack. We're going to pay a bloke 1.7 and drag him out. We're going to pay a guy 1.8 just to have a go at it. And now St Kilda, you can see the improvement getting there. They've got to do something. Look what happened at the Dogs in 2014 when I left, Higo left, Griff left. The amount of abuse and vitriol that was banded towards the Western Bulldogs at that time, that they were saying, well, this has set the club back 10 years. They're not going to be able to recover from this. The coach is gone, the captain's gone, all the senior players are gone. They win the flag 2 years later.
Yeah.
Like it can happen.
Yeah.
And that's that you've just got to sell that to the fans. Like Richmond are going to take a little bit longer because they've got 17 guys on the injury list. Like if they get their soft tissue stuff right and get their younger players out in the park, in 2 years' time, they're going to be a really good team. Hawthorn were saying the same thing about a few years ago. Oh, gee, what are they doing? They're getting rid of all their premiership stars. They're a mile off. Have a look at them now.
The one thing with that is that they've got a lot of those same players. A lot of what is happening with Carlton in the second halves is mental, as you touched on, but they don't have the ability to spread the game and run it out. And Chera and Cripps are two of those guys. That's why Hewitt's on the outside. He's a best and fairest winner last year. So to be able to get these younger, more probably more positive or similarities of the way football's played in the best teams right now, you've got to be able to get out and run. And they don't have those players on their list.
So I would keep Hewitt. I'd trade Chera and I'd keep Hewitt.
Okay.
And Hewitt would be in the side for me for that grunt in the middle of the ground. And then if you trade those other guys and you've got 4 first-round picks and you get Cody Walker in, who's a great ball and he's an elite runner and a good so
this sounds
he can get
amazing.
to the outside.
I agree with you, but they're not going to get first 4-rounders.
For Wiedering, Cripps, Mackay.
4 first-rounders, I'll get that right.
And Chera.
Well,
absolutely they could in the end. And then you can look at getting a free agent in to replace a Wiedering, like a younger player, like Jordan Butts or Borlace. Look, both those guys are unrestricted free agents.
That's a good point where you can sell it. So right now it's hard to sell Cullen to a free agent, right?
Yeah, but money talks.
Yeah, but
like St Kilda was a hard sell 12 months ago. Until you throw 1.7.
Yeah, true.
But all of a sudden it's enticing.
They didn't have Wiedering, Cripps, and Mackay on their books. You know what I mean? St Kilda obviously played it a little financially different, where they spent the 95 compared to the 100, and then spend the 105. It's mathematics. I don't understand it, but that's exactly how they went around it. Carlton don't have that opportunity, mainly because a lot of their salary cap is soaked up by at least 2 of those guys in Wiedering and Mackay.
Yeah, so free that up, and then it becomes enticing.
Yeah.
A guy, Zach Butters, you say, mate, we've got 2.2 here for you. We've freed it up. It looks like we're cleaning out, but we're going to get a couple of free agents in. We're going to get 10. We're going to get 4 of the best 10 kids in the country. And then in 2 years' time, you're going to be the premiership captain, or 3 years' time, you're going to be the premiership captain.
How would you see Harry Mackay put Adelaide with Mitch Georgiades inside 50?
Yeah, nice. I think it'd work pretty well.
Love it or shove it time. Are you ready? Love it or shove it. Round 16, it is time.
Time for?
Friday night standalone showdown.
Are they going again?
See, they play again. They play twice a year.
Double showdown. Is it at the MCG, this one?
No, not yet. Now, let me point out, that's round 16. The fixture will be announced.
Yes.
It's the first week of the floating fixture. It gets announced in the next 2 or 3 weeks, right?
Perfect.
Here's the games. It's a bye round, so there's 4 teams who have a bye. So these are the games, right? Lions and Swans, which could be standalone Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Carlton and West Coast can't be Friday night.
No.
Pies and Tigers, Network could push for it.
No.
Hawks and the Giants,
No.
North and Essendon,
No thanks.
Dockers and
Oh,
Suns.
there you go.
Because they wouldn't put the Dockers and Suns on Friday night. So this is
Bye round. They
time.
They don't need a double header anyway. So I mean, it's the best game of the weekend.
Yeah.
For
Well,
sure. I mean,
Lions and Swans, 2 best teams in the league play as well.
Yeah, Swans. Yeah, whatever.
But this is my. So you love the idea Friday night?
Yeah, I think it's time.
So
I would have loved to have seen that as a 1-out standalone game last week.
This is the reason why it will be done. It has to be done. Okay. So the networks. Channel 7 and Fox, but this is Channel 7 because they are in consultation with the AFL.
Yep.
The AFL, they will say, oh, people don't watch it outside of Adelaide and people don't have interest. Right? And that may well be true, but this is the time to prove it. Put it on Friday night, and if the football fraternity outside South Australia don't tune in, they are doing themselves a disservice to footy watching.
Of course, but everyone watches Friday night.
But that's what I think. That's what I think. So I think it'll
if
be.
You're a footy fan, you've got it on Friday night. It doesn't matter who's playing.
The suggestion
you might
is
turn it off at half time.
The suggestion is that outside of South Australia, there's not a huge amount of TV interest. That is why we haven't had a standalone showdown on a Friday night.
So everyone that has KO or Foxtel or whatever, every single person that's a footy fan was watching that last half on Friday night.
That's what I agree with as well. I'm simply pointing out why the game hasn't been there and done.
Well,
That's it.
Let's test it out.
It's time. And if the numbers are low, then they can just say "told you so," and this is why you don't get it.
Yep.
And then we just have to cop it because that's fair enough. Love it or shove it, the Dogs have a real team v individual conversation. Okay, so Marcus Bontempelli is playing on one leg. Fair?
Playing pretty well on one leg.
Playing really well, but he needs a rest.
Yeah.
We're only 8 weeks into this thing. Okay? They play Port Adelaide this week, away, Friday night, and then Carlton. But Brownlow.
Mm.
So how do you do this? Luke Beveridge kind of did suggest, hey, he probably needs a rest and needs to be looked after a bit. But the Brownlow medal is most certainly a possibility with the way he's playing his football.
When do they get a spell, though? When's a bye week?
I think it's round 15 or 16.
Okay, so he's got to put in a few hard.
It is. It's round 16. It's
another 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think while he's still playing well, then let him go. As long as it doesn't deteriorate or get worse. So he's still playing at a really, really high level. Like, how much better is he going to play on 2 legs?
He had 33 and 2 last week. Now,
it's pretty nice. Like, just keep it, and it's up to. He's an experienced guy. He's going to tell you when he's too sore to play.
Yeah.
And over time,
but as a captain,
he might start to get 5% better each week.
But as a captain, will he say that? Like he's like the team is in injury disarray. I've got to keep fronting up. I can stand up and run. I've got to keep doing this, even if it's at the detriment of how I feel.
Well, I think he needs to keep going.
Okay.
And I don't think that would be in his mind at all. I've got to keep playing well because I'm a chance to win the Brownlow.
I don't think it would be
it's
either.
in our minds because we think this guy, he needs to get a Brownlow medal. He deserves a Brownlow.
I think there would be a somewhat a conversation somewhere in the back of somebody's mind where it'd be like, hey, if we rest Bont here, it could cost him a Brownlow medal at the end of the season.
I don't think any.
No one? You don't think anyone the Western Bulldogs would even for a split second think about that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Nah. Maybe his family might keep going because you're a chance to win the Brownlow.
Yeah.
But I don't even think that would enter his mind.
I don't think it'd be Bont. I just think that, okay.
He's not that kind of guy.
Okay. Love it or shove it. The battle, inverted commas, for the wooden spoon is bad for the league. The bottom 3 right now are 3 of the big 4 powerhouse clubs, Richmond, Essendon, and Carlton. It means the wild card conversation, which is meant to help the league, loses a lot of its fizz because these 3 teams are not in that conversation.
Yeah, I love it. We needed one of these teams to kick and to get up there, and we thought that the most likely team would be Essendon, to be fair, and they've been just about as disappointing as any team in the competition this year. So, yeah, it is bad for the league because, imagine Richmond, Essendon, 7v10. Imagine if they were able to push into that category, and it would have been a huge game, weekend off. We're playing the wild card weekend. There's 100,000 possibly at the MCG, and it goes Coco bananas. But unfortunately, they're vying off for a big wooden spoon and the number 1 draft pick, and no one wants to win now.
And it's not even a situation where it's the actual wild card weekend. It's the actual narrative leading towards a possibility of 2 powerhouses playing in a final at the MCG in front of 95,000. You know what they should do? Here's what they should do, Adam. So if these 3 teams stay rooted to the bottom of the ladder, which unfortunately for Richmond and Carlton, it feels like, I think Essendon might be able to win a couple extra games. But imagine we got to wild card weekend, okay? So we've got a Friday night game, 7v10, a Saturday afternoon game or Saturday twilight, 8v9. And Saturday night, we've got 18th playing 17th. Richmond v Carlton. The winner
gets the
number one pick.
But then the worst team misses out on the number 1 pick.
Well, it's hard to split at the moment, to be honest. And they played a very close game, whereas less than a goal in round 1. It would be there'd be 90,000 at the G.
Yeah, all girl playing for the number 1 pick. The number 1 pick's probably sitting in the crowd thinking, I don't want to go to either of these teams. Can we trade the number 1 pick to someone decent?
All right, before we get out of here, you have dropped your round 9 game rankings, or your weekly game rankings down to only the top 5, because you think there's each and every week there's 4 games that don't deserve you ranking them. That's fair?
Yeah. I'm just ranking as we go along.
Oh, well, I don't think there's any doubt. The number 1 game's Fremantle Hawthorn, right?
That's number 1.
That's number 1 by. You got any interest in Brisbane Carlton?
Not a lot.
Power Bulldogs?
Not a lot.
North Sydney?
Not a lot.
Giants Essendon?
No.
Suns and Saints?
Yeah, a little bit in that. I'll put them at 3.
Okay, so I assume Geelong and Collingwood are 2.
Geelong, Collingwood 2. Melbourne, West Coast, no thanks. Richmond, Adelaide, no thanks.
So you got 3 games you care about this weekend.
Yeah, but don't worry, I'll watch most of them.
So not
I'll
even
still watch them.
The Dogs on a Friday night. I'm back at Adelaide Oval again this week for that.
What do you keep going to Adelaide for?
The races on Saturday for SEN Track Radio. So
Group 1
I
at Morphettville, is there?
Yeah, this week, Goodwood. And no interest in the Giants and Essendon?
Not really.
Former club of yours?
Well, Giants have been, again, another disappointing team this year. And Essendon have been worse. So
Armchair.experts to get involved. Instagram, TikTok, most certainly the best way to go. I want to give a big shout to Max King, the poor bastard.
Oh, bloody hell, Max. You've been pumping him up all year. The key to the St Kilda's fortunes are with Max, and he's pinged a hammy again.
Do you disagree? They just need 1 year out of him, Adam.
Yeah.
Just 1 year. That's all they need. It's like the Tom Boyd theory, vastly different, but they took that opportunity and unfortunately, and Tom speaks so well about it now and the reasons why, but they didn't get the full length of that deal. But they won a flag for that 1 year where he played really good footy and his finals was outstanding. That's all you need from Max. All St Kilda need from Max King is the injury gods smiling on them for 12 months. That's it. Full preseason and 1 year.
It's not going to be this year, unfortunately. Well, Mitch Owens and Cooper Sharman are starting to play some pretty good footy.
But I mean, in all due respect, they are 2 and 3 tier forwards, right? Yeah. When your tier 1 is always meant to be Max King. Jeez, I feel for him. Armchair.experts. Get involved. Instagram, TikTok, in the comments section. Away we go. Next week, Adam, you'll have 3 big games to talk about because that's all you care about, apparently.
Well, there'll be one of them will bob up somewhere and give us something to talk about.
See ya.